Welcome to VHS Sisters, a nostalgic movie podcast with two actual real-life sisters. Get into some jammies, grab your favorite beverage, and come hang out with us as I force my little sister to watch all of the movies that she missed growing up. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the pod. Welcome back to our pod. That is our pod.
VHS Sisters.
It's our pod and it's not yours. That's what I have to say.
It's yours by way of listening, but it's ours by way of speaking.
That's right. If you are listening, you are a part of the VHS Sister family. We need a name for our fans. We can call them like sister lovers or something.
Oh my God.
Is that too Mormon?
Maybe. Sister wives.
Do you want to be a sister wife?
I do not. Although, I feel like sometimes I can be detached in relationships in a way because I like to do my own thing. And if that's not okay for somebody who provides me with a massive amount of wealth and support, then I guess I would be open to it. But nobody interrupts my time. I'll tell you that.
Oh, same. Yeah. I feel like the sister wife thing would be fine if I could hang out with the sisters more.
Mm-hmm.
And we could just do our own thing. And the man
sounds like a lesbian commune, it doesn't.
Maybe that's what I want.
We don't need the man, I guess, unless it's for money.
That's what I'm saying. He has all the power and the resources.
Yeah.
So
because that's the way of the world, unfortunately.
It is still, unfortunately, a man gets a magic sword and a woman, what does she get? She gets very soft, undefined magic, just like in this movie that we are going to talk about. And we'll get into gender. Today's going to be a spicy gender roles podcast because I am fired up.
Are you?
I'm fired up. I'm feeling the spooky season energy. This is not necessarily a spooky Halloween time movie, but there is a lot of spooky energy in it. And
the animation was definitely a little spooky, I will say, and I liked it.
Right. And this movie we're talking. Oh, sorry. We forgot to introduce ourselves.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. So why don't you go first this time?
All right. Well, I am Melanie. I am the younger sister of the VHS Sisters pod.
And you have not seen this movie, which we're about to see, that I am making you see. I am Saysha. I am the older sister.
I was going to say, I've never seen it. So that's the spoiler. Have never seen this movie. Somehow it missed me.
Well, it did come out in 1985, which was a very special year in fantasy film. And we're going to get into it. This movie we're reviewing, the Black Cauldron. As we were rewatching it, this was another movie where I was like, I cannot believe that I'm making Melanie watch this. I don't know how she's going to respond to it. And then there was sort of an inherent shame because I was like, I'm forcing her to watch a very mid Disney movie from the mid 80s that was a total flop. But I'm really interested to hear. I'm really interested to hear, first of all, did you have any awareness of this movie growing up?
Honestly, I think I remember maybe the pig, but that's about it. I've never watched the movie. So I want to say there was probably and you can correct me if I'm wrong. We might have to Wikipedia it, but I don't know if there was a set of toys for these characters that was from a fast food chain like McDonald's or a Burger King or something that we had in a toy box. But that's the only working memory I have of this movie.
Was there a little Henwen mini that you got in your McDonald's Happy Meal?
I don't know. If it came out in 85, I would assume I would have not received a Henwin item, but at the same time, like growing up and having lots of cousins and lots of, extended, friends and family or whatever, and you go over to their house and you play with their stuff, like maybe it was mixed into somebody else's toy box. I don't know, but that's like, and I could just be making this up, but like that's as far as I could reach for any sort of association that I've had to this movie.
Well, we'll get into the backstory of this movie and how it was made. I will say right off the bat that a lot of the character creation feels very familiar, and there is a reason for that I will get into. But after you saying that, I'm like, were you remembering a little Henwen pig toy, or were you thinking of the pig Wilbur from Charlotte's Web? Because the character is very similar looking.
Honestly, I think I'm thinking more of Gurgi.
Oh, wait, sorry, Gurgi came up so fast. So you had a memory of Gurgi.
I think like the look of him, but at the same time, if this is Disney animation, which it is Disney animation, he reminds me a lot of like a character from Lady and the Tramp, or like, like the design is so similar that like it kind of skews reference for me. I'm just not sure what it evokes or what it brings up, but it looks familiar, but that's about it.
Got it.
I don't know. I didn't know what the name was until I watched the movie. I didn't know what the plot was until I watched the movie.
Okay.
I went in completely unknowing. I'll say that.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, I always like to know the context of this. You're coming in pretty much completely blind. You have some memories of characters, but no emotional attachment to it.
Right.
And going back to that, I was like, why did I want Melanie to watch this? And why was this lodged so deeply in my little child brain? Because I would have been about 5 when it came out. And I don't know if I saw it when I was 5. I didn't see it in the theater, but I definitely saw it on VHS when I was 6 or 7 or 8. And there was just like this, I think I wanted to bring it up because this was probably one of my first introductions to a D&D like setting as a child. So at the time when it was made, this was like the height of Dungeons and Dragons in the mid 80s. And I don't know if Disney was doing this consciously, but I think
do they ever do anything like unconsciously? It's all by design.
Well, the crazy lore, and we'll just get into it. So they had the rights, like these books. So there's this Lloyd Alexander wrote a series of books called the Chronicles of Prydain. I've only read the Black Cauldron, but there are 5 books. And this movie is based off the first 2 books. And I kind of wish I would have read more before we started to talk about this, because I don't have a lot of memories of the book. I don't remember being very impressed by it, or maybe it was just a little too old for me when I was trying to read it. But the crazy thing is that Disney acquired the rights to these books in the early 70s, like 71.
Wow, it's early.
Right. So I think it was because there was such a great success with Lord of the Rings and all sorts of hobbity things that were happening in the late 60s, early 70s. There was this huge interest in medieval culture at the time. And I think somebody's wife read these books and was like, we need to get the rights to these books because they're so good. Let's turn it into a kids movie. And they were in basically pre-production hell for like 10 to 15 years. So there's we can dive deep into that. I don't know if any of the characters that you saw, including Gurgi, seemed familiar to you in design. I think that's the first like tangent I'd like to go on. Like looking at like like did you have sort of like deja vu? Like I've seen this before, because rewatching, I certainly did.
Well, like I said earlier, I noticed obviously with like that era of Disney animation, like it all looks so similar.
Right.
A lot of stuff reminded me of the Aristocats. It reminded me of like, I want to say like 101 Dalmatians. Maybe a Robin Hood, like the one with the fox, Fox Robin Hood.
The one with the fox. We all know who that fox is.
We know. And yeah, just like any basic Disney stuff as far as like looks of the movie went. But as far as like the characters and the plot, oh man, this is just Lord of the Rings.
It's super Lord of the Rings. So Gurgi is clearly very Gollum.
The voice coded, and everything too.
But like worse. Like, I don't know how you felt about him, but I fucking hated Gurgi as a kid, and I still hate him to this day.
Oh my God.
I can't, this Donald Duck voice, like that was right. That was like the first thing I was like, I'm embarrassed that I had Melanie watch this.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say it wasn't done just for me and you, it was
right. But I was just like, oh, why this voice? And the character of Gurgi is in the books. He's described in the books as a man beast. I think he's supposed to be sort of like an ape man, which is
I wrote cursed. A note and I was like, what even is Gurgi?
He's a man beast. And in like the Lloyd Alexander books, I think if you see illustrations, he looks like a straight up like Australopithecus. Like he looks like an ape man, and like he was human size, like humanoid.
He's like ape, dog, squirrel, skunk man.
They definitely like made him cute. Like you were talking about Happy Meal toys and toys as a kid, like maybe a faint memory. And I feel like so much of this movie tries to cute up the characters, and they were clearly thinking like, ooh, we're really going to make a killing on all these Gurgi stuffed toys. And it did not go like that. They did not have a successful merchandising campaign, I don't think. But going back to the characters, I don't know if you can see that Taran, our protagonist, he's basically Mowgli face. So they brought in like these old school, I think it was like one particular animator, they brought him in sort of like last minute to refine these characters. And like the way that they did it, especially after Walt Disney died, they had like all this old footage and they would just reuse it.
Yeah.
So you're going to get like this feeling of deja vu. Like you watch it and you're like, oh, right. Like it's sort of like, there's like how do I want to say this?
The essence.
That's perfect. Yeah. The essence of certain old Disney characters. So Taran has like a little bit of a Mowgli face. Princess Elinaway has a little bit of an Alice.
Like a Sleeping Beauty too.
A little bit. Well, I feel like a lot of the landscapes are completely ripped off from Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Like, did you notice that?
I loved how lush the forest looked. There was a lot of like, I mean, this is kind of a tangent, but I loved the illustrations like of the environment. Like in the first scene, there's like the thatched roof housed by the river. And I'm just like, I want to live there. You know, this is quaint and cute and cozy. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready for a good old fantasy movie because I do love fantasy. So
I do too. Yeah. In the first scene, it's giving you Hobbit. It's giving you Shire.
Yeah. It's literally just Frodo and Gandalf and a cat who at first I thought was Budgie, but then I quickly realized the pig is just Budgie.
You'll have to give our listeners context because not all of them know who Budgie is.
Yeah. Budgie is Saysha's cat who forms, if you are so lucky, will form a relationship with you, and it is very special.
Budgie is a very special cat, and whenever you see a creature in a piece of media that has sort of like a big stupid face and blank eyes, a blank expression,
and a round body
with a pendulous belly. That is my cat. It's true. Yeah, the cat in the beginning, I wish we had seen more of that cat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because I was actually watching the movie with Budgie at my side. And when that cat meowed in the movie, Budgie looked up and responded.
So clever.
So clever and cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're seeing a lot of like repetitive fantasy tropes in the beginning.
Oh yeah. I'm like, they're just handing it to you.
Right. We have the classic hero's journey, which we've talked about before on the pod. We get the call to action and it happens pretty darn quick.
Oh yeah. I was not prepared for the pig who can like stir up visions, you know. That was pretty wild. I was like, okay, you know, why is this pig so important? But we quickly realized that the pig is the reason for this whole movie.
It's a pig-based movie. It's very, the powers, I remember the powers being confusing to me as a kid because I was like, well, can the pig predict the future? Is the pig like the One Ring? No, wait, the Cauldron is.
I thought the pig was the ring, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. It's a little, it's very abrupt and it's kind of unclear what the powers are, but they seem to be oracular powers, meaning the pig is a bit of an oracle and can tell the future. And the plot is, without this vision seeing pig, no one can find this black cauldron, which is the way to get all the power in the world. And that's basically like the One Ring. So yeah, it's basically just Lord of the Rings. Like Lloyd Alexander, the author, was like, I'm just going to write a kid's version of Lord of the Rings. And I think the books were written in like 65.
Okay.
They're pretty early. Yeah. So there was definitely some influence there. So you dug the land. So you're saying you like really liked the landscapes. You were digging the fantasy vibes overall.
Yes, I was loving it. I thought that like, and this is far into the future, but like say when there's like smoke or steam, like the way they do that effect over the illustration, I really liked that. I really liked how the forests looked. Like there was so many different types of forest. There's like bright, airy, open forest. There's the dark, a little bit more scary forest. There's like straight up haunted forest with bones everywhere. There was just a lot of great scene building. And I also loved when they get to, or when Taryn gets to the castle, that it's actually very dark in there, which is what I would imagine a castle in that time would look like. Like not everything was super well lit for the sake of cinema, but you know, everything looked a little dark and dirty. And I was like, you know, really felt the difference. And they did a great job visually, like expressing all of the plot, I found.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's the thing that also stuck with me the most. And to answer my own question of like, why was this such a big childhood memory and why would you even recommend Melanie watch this? I think it's because of the world building and that in the introduction to the D&D fantasy setting, that sort of classic tropey fantasy setting. Like I was so taken away by it. Like you said, the backgrounds, the deep forest, the dark castle, such a dark movie.
Very.
Like, not well lit. I mean, there was lighting, right? But very atmospheric, very ooky spooky. So there's that horror element, even though it's not like specifically a spooky Halloween movie. It's definitely giving you those Halloween vibes, especially when you get to the castle and you meet all the goblins. And then I wrote a note here. It's like, so we get to the castle right away and it's Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Did you catch that vibe?
I did. It's like a lot of a big voluptuous maiden dancing on the table.
Yes.
Everyone's feasting and getting drunk. There's like a dog chewing on a bone. There are these little like dragon-esque creatures chilling on their perch, which I thought was kind of funny. Reminds me a lot of like anytime there's like an evil, like a twin character, like Lady and the Tramp, for example, with like the Siamese cats that are evil.
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Even I think in Little Mermaid, doesn't the Queen Ursula, she's got two eels.
Two evil eels. Yeah, that's like I didn't catch that at all. And that is that's a really cool thing to notice. Yeah, I was like, are these dragons or is it wyverns? How do we pronounce these things?
I think wyverns, maybe.
Yeah, that part where they were like trying to snatch the pig up, I was like, this is scary.
I know. And I was surprised to see two of them. So I was like, oh, wow. Like, I don't know. I guess with the sake of having the two evil creatures, I wasn't sure that there was going to be two dragons, but I was really surprised when there was.
There were a couple dragons. Yeah, the whole vibe in the castle was like, we've got these little pet dragons. We've got a bunch of little goblin guys. And like you said, a very voluptuous woman dancing upon a table. And at one point I had to pause it because these old dude animators who were probably like I know that they at the time they had a lot of younger animators leave and peace out and go work for Don Bluth's company. Because, Don Bluth worked for Disney and then he was like, fuck this company. I'm going to go make that mouse movie that we talked about. So they brought in a lot of like these old school animators to finish this movie. And there's a point like when they're in the sort of wild party scene in the castle.
And like the main hall of the castle.
In the main hall of the castle, the dancing lady does a twirl and you totally see that puss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Like, I mean, she has panties on.
Oh, shit.
But you can see pretty much everything. And I just think it's so funny how like these animators would put in these like horny little jokes for themselves in a kids movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. That's why like they say like SpongeBob is actually like an adult show, but kind of geared for children. Like the themes are all very adult. Like I need to pay my bills. I have to go to work. Like
right.
Not exactly kid forward, but the kids just latch onto it for the sake of the animation. But that's funny. I didn't notice that. I'll have to go back and rewatch.
You got to go back and rewatch and I'll notice all of these little details. Yeah, so we get Taran in the castle. Yeah, what did you
I also love how fast he lost the fucking pig. Like it's his job to care about the pig and he's out here fantasizing, just like goofing off, and the pig's immediately gone. I'm like, dude, you had one job.
Right. Yeah, this sort of like, yeah, what did you feel about Taran as a protagonist?
I thought he was a little well, not a little. I would say he was problematic. But I guess that's kind of the point of the movie, that like you can eventually redeem yourself. But he was very self-centered. He was very, obviously he's young. Like I don't know what his age is. I'm assuming like 14 maybe. And
it's unclear. It's definitely unclear. Yeah, I was gonna say like his actions are older, but he looks like he's 10. But later he's talking about like girls are stupid, in sort of like a puberty way, like when you're picking on girls.
Very uncalled for. I was like, okay, rude.
Yeah, he's not like a super likable protagonist.
No, and I will say I was more worried about the pig. Like I loved the pig. Henwin. I loved her. So I was just worried about her. And I'm like, get this stupid kid to hurry up and go get the pig. Like, come on.
Right. We have to protect Henwen at all costs.
Yeah. Like I said, she is Budgie. So we have to protect her.
She's our little diva doll.
Yeah, she's a little baby.
Yeah. No, I love that. Like I love how you kind of latch on to the adorable animal characters.
I'm a sucker for anything that's like cute, a little bit chubby, and like a little helpless. I'm like, I will save that character. That is my friend.
So if there was like a little Henwen stuffy back in the 80s, you would have gotten that.
Yeah, I would have loved it. I would have gotten it for sure. Add it to the collection of like 120 stuffies I had as a kid,
You gotta have those stuffies.
You gotta have that net in the corner of your room just fucking stacked with stuffies.
I have, the listeners can't hear, but
or see.
Or is that the listeners The listeners can't see, but I am holding a stuffy
I love
right
it.
now just for moral support. Yeah, you need the cute characters to juxtapose against the terrifying characters. Specifically, let's just talk about him, our main diva, the Horned King.
Wow.
Who is maybe the scariest fucking thing I have ever seen. I'm like, oh, this is just straight up Skeletor skull face.
It is. Yeah, as I say, it's Skeletor King.
Did you clock the voice? Do you know who that voice actor was?
So some of the voice actors in the movie felt familiar again from like past Disney projects or like a Winnie the Pooh project or just like something felt like, okay, this is the same person who did this. I don't exactly know who the king was played by though. Enlighten me.
So the Horned King was voiced by the actor John Hurt. Do you know who that is?
No.
So John Hurt was in a ton of stuff. If you would hear him or see him, you would probably clock him immediately. He was in the original Alien movie, which you've seen, I'm sure.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I've seen it, but like, do I know every scene by heart? No.
So, but you know the chest burster scene?
Yes.
Okay, so he's the guy who has the chest burster come out of him.
Another diva.
Yeah, that alien diva straight work that puss.
Yeah.
So yeah, John Hurt was in the Elephant Man, but he would have been unrecognizable with the Elephant Man makeup. I'm trying to think of stuff that you would know John Hurt. Oh, from everybody's favorite Wizarding School movie, the original Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone. He plays Ollivander. In the wand shop. So he's got that little scene where he's like, Harry, that's your wand.
Good impression. Yeah, exactly.
He's got that sort of like crusty, dusty voice. He's incredible. He's been in so much stuff. But yeah, he does a great job voicing that villain.
Yeah, he does. That was a scary king. Very scary. I would say out of all the Disney villains, I don't know if he would count because people don't associate. I feel like I haven't really heard much about this movie. There's a ton of people who geek out over like that early Disney or like late Disney animation pre-Pixar taking over everything. And like Black Cauldron's not necessarily a part of that, like all the princesses and things of that nature, Lion King.
Oh, you're thinking more like Little Mermaid, Lion King, Aladdin.
Right, like what people consider like the classics, you know?
No, this was definitely at like the dark days of Disney. So yeah, to kind of go back and talk about like that big exodus from Disney, because I feel like this is such a huge part of the story. So like I said, Don Bluth was on the production team. He was working on Fox and the Hound. Which you have seen.
Yeah,
he was
traumatic.
Traumatic. Yeah, we don't need to cover that because you've already seen it. But this was a time when the movies that came out. So, like you said, it was Robin Hood. There was The Rescuers, the original Rescuers, and then like Fox and the Hound. So that's sort of like we'll just call it like the crusty, dusty era. This is like right after Walt Disney died, and everyone was just sort of like
became frozen.
Yeah, exactly. They just put him in a vault with Hitler and it's all good.
It's all good.
It's fine. Yeah. So there was like a weird experimental time and everything was like, they're like, yeah, let's try this. Let's like adapt this story. Let's see if kids resonate with this. And like I said, I think Black Cauldron was their attempt at like doing animated fantasy a la the animated Lord of the Rings, the animated Hobbit, the Rankin and Bass, which have you seen the animated version of the Hobbit?
No.
From the 70s?
I'll be completely honest. I haven't even seen the live action version
of the Hobbit.
I want to say I've seen a scene or two back when like we had HBO on TV, but now it is streaming exclusively for me. I think I remember like a little bit of a dragon scene, and then that's about it.
You remember Schmoeg?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You remember that big red dragon?
I was going to say Smog.
Yeah, I just say Schmoeg because it's funny. You've seen the original Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings, Two Towers Return of the King.
Love those movies.
Right. I'm like, how could you not? Yeah, The Hobbit. I will still watch them over most things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing about me, is that I will rewatch mid garbage all day long, and I am very reluctant to start a new anything, which honestly, that's a character flaw that I have to work on. But we talk about it all the time. The Hobbit sequels that came about in the 2010s, they're not great because they have, this sounds crazy, but they have like too much budget.
Oh.
So they literally just like CGI everything, and like all the cool practical things and the effects that they were using, and like the more human elements of the original trilogy.
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Lord of the Rings, it was just lost.
Mm.
So you're basically just watching these action sequences with like no stakes. And it seems like, yeah, it's very CGI'd out. But again, I will watch them. And like if it's on, I will watch it. No problem. I think it's one of those, like you could put it on when you're cleaning or something if you just want like a general fantasy vibe.
Mm-hmm. I've been meaning to watch the director's cuts of all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. I have not seen them.
Oh, I literally put it on. I put on Fellowship, the director's cut, the other day, and I'll make it like to the point where they meet the Balrog.
Uh-huh.
You get a lot more Hobbit content. They really spend a lot of time in the Shire in the beginning before they get into the whole journey.
Yeah, which is good because I like the Shire.
I recommend. Yeah, we don't have to cover it on the pod. But
no, but I love it. And you guys should love it too if you're listening to us. I would assume that you do.
You have to be a fan of fantasy and whimsy, because that's, you know what, that's all we got. But in terms of the animated films of the 70s, there were 2 animated films. There was the Lord of the Rings animated movie, and there was the Hobbit one, which the VHS cover of the Hobbit animated film completely traumatized me as a kid because the illustrations were so cursed.
Ooh.
So we might cover that. I don't know how, like, is this the first animated movie we're talking about? I think so.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
This is our first animated film, and I feel like there are many disturbing cartoons from this time that we could discuss as well.
I'm dreading the black, or I'm not the Black Cauldron. I like the Black Cauldron. I'm dreading Dark Crystal.
That's not animated. That's straight up 100% puppets.
Cursed film, and we'll save it for later because we will watch it, and I'm not ready.
we're gonna watch the Dark Crystal. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to get into it. And the fact that you've been avoiding it for so long, I feel like it's gonna be. It's like, you know, when you put off a hard task, and you're like, this will take literally 5 minutes, and it's no big deal. That's what it's going to be like for you watching Dark Crystal. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad I finally got this out of the way.
Right.
Yeah. This was early. I would say 80 to 85 is like peak puppetry, D&D fantasy. And this feels like Disney's response to that. They're like, yeah, we're going to get in on this medieval fantasy. At this time, I think 2nd edition of D&D would have been out.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, yeah, we really got to cash in on this. I think the D&D TV cartoon was really big at the time, which you probably don't remember. You never saw that.
No.
It's on YouTube. I'll send you a link. We talked about Taryn. Yeah. How did you feel about Princess Alana Way?
I actually appreciated her because she was kind of the opposite of Taryn. She was a little more brave. You know, he was so like, obviously when he gets to the castle, he gets captured. He pushes the pig off the ledge, which I'm like, there's no way that pig would survive. But, you know,
yeah,
for the sake of animation and my love for Henwin, she must survive. And
I don't care what happens. Just save that pig.
Just save the pig. Like literally kill the boy. I don't care.
Yeah, he can go. He can go.
So basically, he gets thrown into a cell, like in the prison or whatever, beneath the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And up comes Princess, you said Eelway?
So this is, I wanted to make sure I was saying her name correctly. That is a different thing.
Yeah.
That
that's a series of books that we have read. Separate pod.
That's a separate pod, but let's tangent super quick. You just referenced something from, is that like a Sarah
Throne
J?
of Glass, yeah.
Oh, that's a Throne of, right. That's a Sarah J.
That's where Nehemia, the princess in Throne of Glass, is from. She's from Eelway.
I feel like we have some listeners who, if they're into fantasy films that we're covering a lot of, they may also read the fine literary works of Sarah J. Maas.
Yes.
An author we have read extensively. And I just wanted to pop her in here because do you not feel that Sarah J. Maas completely lifted this Cauldron plot?
Oh, 100%.
For A Court of Thorn and Roses, the series.
Granted, the effects of the Cauldron differ in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series in the sense of like being in the cauldron will make you more powerful, which it does animate the dead in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of reminds me of like a Game of Thrones situation where you have like the undead army.
Oh, good point. Okay.
So I was kind of thinking like it's a little touch of everything that I love. So for me, like watching it felt comfortable and like a little bit predictable, but like not something that I would dislike. It's all within the realms of like things that I do enjoy. So
right, you're seeing again like all those comforting fantasy tropes. We've got the magic cauldron who it's able to transform things and give you power. We've got a boy who's learning how to be a warrior, and we have a girl with extremely soft, undefined magic who's just there to provide moral support.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think that's my main problem with the movie.
Okay.
And I am glad you enjoyed it, and I'm proud that I gave you perhaps a new comfort watch.
Sure.
But my main beef with this movie is the fact that they introduced the character of Princess Elenaway. Elenaway, that's how we say it. Because they're all Welsh names, right? This is all very ripped.
Yes.
Much like modern romantasy novels, completely ripped from Welsh mythology.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear it in all the names. Taryn's a very Welsh name. Elenaway.
What's the old guy, Flirta?
His name? Wait, no, say it. Say what you think his name is again.
Flirta. That might be more Norwegian.
I was going to say you just did Herdiger. You just went Swedish chef. Yeah, his name is Fluter Fleur, I think.
Is it? Let's just call him Fleur.
You just call him, I think it's Fluter.
Fluter.
And he is, we haven't brought him up yet, but
they kind of get him as they start this, what I like is like a dungeon crawl, essentially.
Yes.
That's another big fantasy theme is a dungeon crawl. And so they're like escaping the jail cells. I love that Elenaway, she basically calls Taryn useless, like right off the bat, because she's like, oh, like, are you a warrior? Are you whatever? Like, are you a wizard or something?
Are you a fighting man, as they said in OG D&D? That's like, that was the class. You're a fighting man.
Fighting man. And he's like, no, I'm a pig keeper. She's like, oh, too bad. And then just like keeps pushing on. So I think maybe that's where his disdain for her also started.
Right.
But, yeah. So they push on out and they go into another cell, like a holding cell, and we meet Flirt.
I want you to keep saying it on the pod. I want you to keep saying it wrong.
Flirtaword? Fluterwin.
I know. We're just gonna call him the old bard character.
He is an old bard, yeah. And I so like everyone, and I know you're saying it's a problem with hers, which it is, but like the magic that good old Fleur has is basically a harp that will detect if he is lying. So like it pops a string every time he's lying. And then Princess Elenaway, she's got like this, what I assume is like a Tinkerbell kind of situation. Like a little floating orb. Her magical bauble. Which, what the hell?
I wrote in my notes, I was like, so she's a mage, right? But she just has dancing lights and that's it.
What a cantrip to have.
She just has one cantrip, one shitty cantrip and nothing else. And you're just like, wow, this is some level 1 shit. Yeah, it's very soft magic, like we've talked about before in other pods about like that sort of low magic, that soft magic. I'm like, she doesn't do anything super powerful. It would be cool. Like Taryn obviously like immediately gets the magic sword.
Yeah, he grave robs.
He robs. Yo, he robs that grave.
He robs a grave. And they're like, what did you do? And he's like, I don't know. I thought I needed it. Like, what's he going to do with this sword? Which true, you know?
Like, how is he able to instantly wield it? The sword is as big as he is.
I guess he was practicing with the stick and he's been carrying the pig. So it's like,
that's true. That
all of that weight, you know,
a lot of upper body strength from carrying a pig.
Yeah.
For sure. Like you got to carry that thick boy.
Oh, budgie.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess, yeah, my main complaint is that they don't make Princess Elenaway super magical.
No.
I feel like, yeah, it is cool how she's instantly a Taryn hater. I think the switch to like making them fall in love, like it just sort of happens and you don't really see that growth. They have a fight later and then instantly it's like fine, you know? Mm-hmm. So that I think it's like as short as the movie is, they don't spend, I mean, they probably don't have like, they didn't think that they had a lot of time for character arc development. They're just like, and it's fine. They have to work together, right?
Right.
I also enjoy the part where they're like crawling around the dungeons. It is very dungeon crawl. I wrote, it's very Goonies. Mm-hmm. Just kids wandering around
with like bones everywhere.
Yeah, we got bones down here. Yeah, any other highlights for you is like we get into the second part of the movie. They escape that castle. Yep. They have a little tiff.
We didn't mention what's the green guy's name, the assistant to the Horned King.
Yes, my favorite character. Thank you for bringing him up.
Oh my gosh, I was going to leave him alone.
Wait, did you hate him?
I didn't hate him. I didn't. He seemed like a helpful little creature. What's his name?
His name is Creeper.
Creeper, that's right.
His name is Creeper. I could not remember if he is a character in the actual book. So I was like,
I would imagine not, but we'd have to fact check. But it just seems like something to kind of like give the dark side more of a comedic relief, you know?
Yeah, no, Creeper is there. Creeper is there to bounce off the Horned King. He's like, I think that's a common Disney thing. We have like a Jafar-like character, and then we have a little Iago character who's there to like crack jokes and be like subservient.
Yeah, like with Scar and Zazu.
Exactly. Or the hyenas, you know, similar sort of vibes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I love Creeper. Creeper is my little guy. I wrote down, I'm like, I would love a little Creeper plushie. I dig Creeper's little Ren Fair outfit with the cape and the one good eye. And the voice acting, I think, is like 150%.
So much better than Gurgi.
Gurgi fucking sucks. Okay. I am so anti-Gurgi. I'm sorry if you liked him.
Well, we'll get there, but I have a final thought about him. We'll save that for the end.
We'll save that for the insane ending of a child's movie.
So the second part of the movie being where they finally escape the castle. Now they've gone into the woods. They search for the pig. They fall into a pool.
They're in the swamps of sadness.
Yes.
They go to the swamps of sadness again. And I was just like, okay, this is just never ending story again. This is the swamps from Princess Bride. Like we always have to come to a creepy, goopy place.
Yeah. Someone's got to get oopy. Someone's got to get goopy under my toes.
You got to have that slime under your boots. we're instantly like pulled into the Feywild. Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, it's like instant transport to the Feywild, fairyland.
Yes.
How are you feeling about that part?
I thought the little sprite family was so cute. Like the little kids or whatever. Again, I'm a sucker for anything that's like super cute and like with a little baby voice. But they were fine. It kind of reminded me of like a Smurf situation.
Sure. Yeah.
There's like
cool.
a supreme leader.
Yep. That's true. We got the little fairy king. I forget his name.
Somehow they all welcome them. The little girl one's like curious about the princess. I want to see the pretty lady, you know. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then the like fact that his Terran's mission is to like recover this pig. He gets the pig again and then abandons it again.
Right.
He's just like, okay, bye, pig. Like, you know,
he's
very
not good.
selfish. Yeah.
He's not good at his job. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he sucks. And they have to go. They're like, you know what? Let's destroy this cauldron, I think is what it is, right? Or like, let's go get it so that no one else can have it.
Right. Very one ring. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's still impending doom happening if we don't get it. So like, we're just buying ourselves time. So they decide to go on that adventure and meet the three witches.
Yes.
And I thought they were pretty funny. I like them a lot. Very hag-esque. You know, like they bring up the fact that like you can't really bargain with a hag. Like you have to be very careful of how you do so because they are tricky.
Right. Yeah, no, it's like very much like we know from Dungeons and Dragons playing RPGs of that nature that you simply do not make a deal with a hag. A hag is a fey creature. I don't think they say hag in this movie. I think they're referred to as witches.
They are, yeah.
But as soon as you see them, it's like, oh, there's three of them. That's a hag coven because historically hags are always they're always sisters or cousins. It's always, you know, they just don't want groups of women to gather.
Right. Because that's when like things happen, you know, change will happen when women gather more.
They just don't want to see girl bosses in power.
Right.
Yeah. So they make a bargain. They have to go through all of these little trials and tribulations in the hag house to get the cauldron.
And I love that the one is in love with the old man, Fleur.
Yeah. Fluter Fleur is getting some action from the chonky witch, the voluptuous
like,
witch.
Oh, baby, she's already in love with him. And he's like, ma'am, you're crazy. I'm not interested. And I was just like, at that point in the movie, I go, you know what? You're never too old for love and adventure. Let the bard tell you that you can find it all.
Absolutely. No, I do love that it is sort of like a very unconventional party. We have a fighting boy who's not very competent. We have soft magic princess.
Yeah.
Who is a hater.
She's great, honestly. She's a diva and I do like her.
And we have old bard guy. He's like the old rock and roll guy at the bar. He's like, I used to be in a band.
Right.
You know, so we have old guy. And then our fourth party member, we have a fucking freak whose name is his name is Gurgi.
Gurgi's got his munchings and crunchings.
Oh.
And he's ready to serve his master, which again, very Lord of the Rings, Master Frodo.
Right. Yeah. He's very that.
And like, obviously they get stolen up again, get back to the castle. And this is kind of when Gurgi as a character has to make sense because he's there to help at the end and he's able to untie them in their cells and is also able to like ultimately sacrifice himself, which I was like, yo, Gurgi, I thought you were useless this whole time.
How do you feel about having the adorable main character fucking off themselves?
That was a little traumatic, I would say, for the kiddos to watch. Maybe if they attach themselves to the character to watch him literally commit suicide on screen is crazy. but he did it to save the day, and
He
sometimes
did.
sacrifices, aren't necessary. But man, he had a complete turnaround for me, because I could not stand Gurgi for like pretty much the whole movie, except for like the term that he came up with, munchings and crunchings. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, you love the munchins and crunchins.
Well, you know how like sometimes you'll accuse people of, you're like, hey, you're over there munching and crunching, like you're making too much noise,
Oh, you're saying, yeah, because I do not like the chewing.
Yeah.
No, I have the misophonia. I don't like to hear people chewing. I don't like to hear myself chewing. So when I'm eating, I have to like turn on a TV program to not hear my own teeth. That is my thing. That's one of my things.
Right. So yeah, anyway, so Gurgi was basically useless right until the end.
He made the ultimate sacrifice. That is like his moment of redemption, because he's been a coward the whole movie. And then he's like, you know what? Yeah, the whole scene. I was like, I remember rewatching this, not the most recent time, not yesterday, but like a couple of years ago. This was like beginning of pandemic, because I was like, let me go on a journey and revisit all of my childhood favorites. And I remember watching that scene when he's like turning to Taran before he jumps in the cauldron, and he's like, you have a lot of, I can't even do the Gurgi voice. He's like, you have a lot of friends, master. And I don't have friends. And so I'm going to kill myself.
Gurgi, no.
And so he's like, I have no friends. I'm going to off myself. Goodbye.
He's like, I'm a piece of shit. And I'm like, you know what? You are, but you don't need to kill yourself because of that. Gurgi. But like, he kind of like, to me, he's basically like a squirrel. And I'm like, okay, all the creatures that he is in one, he's also a squirrel. But I'm like, there's a squirrel that's like dead on the road right now,
So
the sacrifice was something I was willing to make.
Got it. So you were like sad about it, but not really.
I was like sad about it, but I was like, okay, this finally gives him purpose in this movie. Like, otherwise he's just a pain in the ass, except he's like, oh, I saw where the pig's going. Like, okay, anyone who could look at the ground could see where the pig went.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's not a lot of like, it's random in terms of narrative. Like, I think a thing that's really satisfying about the fantasy genre is we get to see people use their special skills to push the plot forward and ultimately win. So it's like, I guess Gurgi's low self-esteem was a help in the end, because he was able to use his depression to help his friends. It's so dark. Like, that's the thing. This whole ending is so fucked. Can you imagine being like a 6 or 7-year-old watching, first of all, this necromancing cauldron create an army of the dead with these effects that cost Disney, like, this was the most expensive Disney movie that was made. And I don't think it still is, but at the time it was like $44 million.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like it completely flopped. Like, not critically. I think people were like, this is a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But commercially, it completely flopped. It scared kids, and they cut so much out of this movie. They cut like, I want to say like 15 minutes, which is why sometimes the narrative is a little choppy. You're like, okay, and this happened, because they cut out stuff that was too scary. They cut out a lot of the dragons capturing the pig scene, because that was too intense for kids. There was like parts where the army of the dead, when they were destroyed, it was like bones melting and intestines coming out and like all this stuff. And they were just like, yeah, we can't show this to 5-year-olds.
No.
But yeah, can you imagine?
Not.
Yeah, I was going to say like that was, I remember it being like super scary, super dark. And I just think it was funny. They tried to sell this to kids and they were like, yep, Army of the Dead. And then here's the cute guy dying. He does get resurrected at the end.
He does. Yeah, because this is when Taran has his turning point as well, because the witches come back and they, after the castle crumbles, because the horned king gets sucked into the cauldron, and like basically evil crumbles in the river or in the lake, and it turns into a whole scene. But then everyone escapes via boat and they go to shore, and the witches come back and they're like, hey, like, so about that cauldron, we want it back or whatever. So they were going to negotiate again. And they wanted to give Taryn the sword back because they had taken the sword initially to get the cauldron. They basically offer him that sword and he goes, no, I don't want it because I'm just a pig boy. I'm not the warrior that I dreamed of being.
He got humbled at the end.
He did. And so he wished to have his friend back, Gurgi.
Right, because friendship is more important than magic swords.
And the way that, again, like if you make any sort of bargain with a witch, it will usually come out causing more harm.
Right.
And I thought for sure when Gurgi's body showed up that he was just going to remain dead. And I was like, this is kind of messed up. Like, this is not kid friendly.
Right. Like there's he's dead a lot. Like they returned. They're like, he's like, I want my friend back. And then he's just holding Gurgi's inert body. And there's just like a moment you're like, all right, he's just going to walk off with this corpse and
they're going to go bury it and then like go from there.
That's it. And it's like, well,
the end.
The end.
Yeah, no, but so he comes back to life. So you have a moment of joy for those who love Gurgi. And basically that's it. So he comes back to life and they walk off into the sunset. And then you get a scene of like the pig fucking zoning out in the in a
she's tripping.
She's tripping in another cauldron while this basically like the Gandalf character of them all. He was able to see the vision of the four friends walk off into the sunset. And he's like, well, he did it,
The end. Yeah.
I'm so glad the pig found her way home. Let's be real.
So that was the highlight for you.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, so we love the pig.
Love the pig. Hate Gurgi.
Okay, you hate Gurgi now.
I do. I mean, like, I don't like, if I gave him like a rating system, I don't know. He's like a 3 out of 10 character for me. Like he's there for a reason to push the plot forward at the end.
Right.
But for the most of the movie, he's basically useless and he's just like a Gollum-esque character. If there was no Gurgi, I probably wouldn't have associated so much with The Lord of the Rings too, because it was just like a blatant ripoff.
Yeah, you need an annoying little guy to make the ultimate
steal
sacrifice
shit from you, yeah, and sacrifice himself. I would say that I'm happy the pig made it back. I kind of liked I didn't like how Gurgi forced Princess Elenaway and Taryn to kiss. He's like, now kiss.
Yeah.
Them together. And I was like, what if she's underage? Like
they're both underage and it's inappropriate. They're both clearly like 13. They don't need to be
fine. You can a 13-year-old can kiss another 13-year-old, but I'm just like, did she want that?
No, Gurgi doesn't know the meaning of consent.
No, Gurgi does not know.
Yeah, he gets a 0. He gets a 0 for me. Annoying voice, no concept of consent, ugly teeth, just annoying. Yeah, he's my least favorite kind of Disney character.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, my favorite was Creeper. He was my little guy.
Yeah.
I loved him. I wish they had given Princess Elenaway more to do.
I do too, because I did like her character. She was very sure of herself and she was able to like help Taryn figure out shit. Like she's so much smarter than him.
Right.
She's less selfish, which is nice. And she cared about like everybody along the way. So like she's the real winner in my book for this. Her and the pig.
Yeah, I wish they'd given her like one more cantrip. Like she had dancing lights. I wish they had given her like a little mage hand, maybe.
Ooh.
Right. Like,
or like the dancing light does the mage hand. That would make sense.
Or like, like the bauble can basically shapeshift and like turn into a spectral hand.
Or like, what about like a horse or something? And she can ride off on the horse,
Ooh, what's that? That's a higher level spell. It's like create steed or something.
Yeah. I would love that. That would be cool. That's just me fantasizing about what I would like to see in another fantasy movie and or book.
Yeah, I mean, just sort of as we wrap this up, there is a very similar dynamic in The Dark Crystal between the two main characters, which is we have a a male character who's sort of not ready for the quest, and a much smarter female character who has special skills, which you're going to love.
Okay.
I feel like we got to do this one soon because we've been avoiding
We'll do it before the end of the year for sure.
we're gonna like I don't think that this should necessarily become a fantasy podcast. We're gonna cover other movies from the VHS era. So for all of our listeners, just to reestablish this, we are only going to be covering movies from say like 1975 to like 2005 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the prime VHS era of movies that you may have missed, but that's a good chunk of time that we can cover.
Absolutely. And then we'll segment into our multiple other podcasts that we will be starting.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, we could talk about books, we can talk about current events. I just feel like I really wanted to get you to enjoy some good movies.
And you know what? Black Cauldron, I thought the movie, if I had to give it a rating, which we've done a couple ratings, we'll have to find a solid system, or we could just go through them all because we've given thumbs ups, we've given A through Fs, and we've given through 10s. So if I go, I'll start giving it a 1 thumbs up.
Okay.
I would give it a 6.5 out of 10, possibly, possibly a 7, which would also equate to a solid C. And I think that a C+ is worthy of the Black Cauldron.
You think a 7 is a C?
Well, 70% is a C, you know?
Oh, I guess it is. I guess you I guess you know more about book learning than I do.
I know things about school. So yeah, I mean, like I would say like a B- because it was cute. It was very much obviously a cartoon. There was cozy elements to it. There were spooky elements to it. It didn't feel like a traditional Disney movie.
No.
And I liked that. There was a lot of characters. There wasn't like too much lore. Like there was lore, but it was explained pretty quickly in the beginning.
Right. They just
so it was easy to follow along. And you know, I love a cute, squishy character, and there were a couple of those.
So I'm glad you have a couple adorable chunky characters to to enjoy. That's great. Yeah, I wasn't sure how you were going to take this one, but honestly, I feel glad that you weren't completely resentful about watching it.
No, not at all. Not at all. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Awesome. That's another win for me. I have a whole list here. Win for Saysha.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like, we covered pretty much everything. For me, I also give it like a solid C. But I want to give props to this movie for awakening a love of Dungeons and Dragons. This was like my Dungeons and Dragons route, I think, because I
could see that.
I saw this before I was even aware that there was a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon or even RPG. And look where it started with the Black Cauldron, and look at us now as adults who are still playing RPG video games and tabletop games. Thanks, 1980s, for being weird as fuck.
Starting it all.
That's where it all started. So yeah, next time we might be reviewing another fantasy movie. It might be a spooky movie. It might be a spooky fantasy movie.
Sure. I like both of those things.
we'll figure that out. But
one mention I want to say before we go, for anybody who enjoys like illustration or art for art's sake, the end credits of this movie I thought were done very well. They were like, they were nicely illustrated, and kind of like, you know, how they kind of like recreate the plot a little bit, like with the credits. It made me want to read a storybook, like a children's storybook. In fact, I might have to see if my local library has any of the look at you, she has the book in hand. Lloyd Alexander's The Black Cauldron,
and this is the second one in the book in the series of 5. So when we're done with the current huge book that we're reading together, maybe we could go through some shorter. Look how little this guy is.
Perfect.
The Black Cauldron is, I mean, you could bang this out in one day. It's like 200 pages.
Oh, yeah.
This is kid stuff. But yeah, reading is good. We are a pro reading podcast. We are pro fantasy, pro whimsy,
pro coven.
Pro coven? Pro hag.
Yeah. Pro princess and pro pig.
We're
pig as friend.
Pig as friend. Don't eat that pig. Don't eat that pig.
You don't need to. Yeah, bacon's good, but like that pig is really cute. So think about that.
It's smarter. A pig is smarter than a 3-year-old child. Think about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have been VHS Sisters.
Yes.
Thanks again for listening. We appreciate all of our fans. We have so many fans now.
Thank you, fans. We love you. You know the drill as far as like and subscribe, support if possible. And we're happy to keep making some content for you guys while we dive further into the world of the VHS.
Yes. And if you have any suggestions, please feel free to email us. I'll include the contact at the end per usual. Yeah. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of VHS Sisters. We hope you've had a fun and cozy time. Please consider liking, leaving a review, and following us on your podcast platform of choice. If you'd like to chat with us, please email us at VHSsisterspodcast@gmail.com. Love you. Bye.